You've probably heard about Ozempic by now. At this point, it's everywhere. News headlines, social media posts, maybe even conversations with your doctor. But there's something important almost nobody is really explaining. What if instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a prescription, you could go to a regular grocery store today, spend under $8 in total, and bring home a handful of everyday foods that activate the very same biological pathway Ozempic is designed to target? Pause. That might sound like an exaggeration, but it isn't. I'm not promoting any product here, and I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm a physician and researcher, and the science behind this is very real. In this discussion, I'm going to walk you through 8 simple, affordable foods, each costing less than $1 per serving, that can naturally encourage your body to produce a hormone responsible for controlling appetite and stabilizing blood sugar. And if you're over 60, this becomes even more meaningful because it can genuinely influence your daily energy, cravings, and overall well-being. Let's break it down. Pause. Before we get into the list, it's important to understand the mechanism behind it, because once you see how it works, everything starts to make sense. Ozempic, known scientifically as semaglutide, works by copying the action of a hormone your body already makes on its own. That hormone is called GLP-1, or glucagon-like peptide 1. Here's what it actually does inside your body. First, it sends signals to your brain that you are full, even when your stomach isn't completely filled yet. This is one of the reasons people using Ozempic often stop thinking about food all the time. Second, it slows down the rate at which food leaves your stomach and enters your bloodstream. This leads to steadier blood sugar levels instead of sudden spikes and crashes. Third, it reduces strong cravings, especially for sugary and high-fat foods. Now here's the part most people never hear clearly enough. Certain whole foods can naturally encourage your body to release more of its own GLP-1. Inside your gut, there are specialized cells in the intestinal lining called L cells. These cells respond to specific nutrients, especially certain fibers, proteins, and healthy fats, by releasing GLP-1. So instead of relying only on medication, your body already has the built-in system. It just needs the right nutritional signals. No injections, no prescriptions, no expensive monthly cost, and especially after 60, this becomes even more important. As we age, insulin sensitivity tends to decline, muscle mass naturally decreases, and metabolism slows down. Supporting this system naturally can make a real difference in how your body feels day to day. Now let's look at the 8 foods that can help activate this process. Pause. We'll begin with something very simple, something you may already have in your kitchen. Plain rolled oats, the basic kind you find in a regular container, usually cost just a few cents per serving, and they are surprisingly powerful when it comes to supporting GLP-1 activity. The key here is a type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. When you eat oats, beta-glucan absorbs water and forms a thick, gel-like texture in your digestive system. This slows digestion in a very beneficial way. It reduces how quickly sugar enters your blood, helps you stay full for longer, and importantly, it also stimulates those L cells in your gut to release more GLP-1. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that people who consumed oatmeal had noticeably higher GLP-1 levels compared to those eating refined breakfast foods with the same calorie content. For older adults, there's an additional benefit worth noting. Beta-glucan has also been linked to lowering LDL cholesterol, often called bad cholesterol, which becomes increasingly important as cardiovascular risk rises with age. Dr. Lee's tip: avoid instant-flavored oatmeal packets. They often contain added sugar, which works against the benefits we're aiming for. Instead, choose old-fashioned rolled oats or steel-cut oats. You can enhance them by adding berries, a bit of cinnamon, and a spoon of chia seeds for an even stronger metabolic effect. We'll come back to chia seeds shortly. Pause. Now let's talk about eggs. Over the years, eggs have been misunderstood, but modern research continues to support their value. 2 eggs cost less than $1 in many places, and they provide one of the highest quality protein sources available. Protein plays a direct role in GLP-1 release. When your digestive system detects protein, especially amino acids from eggs, it sends signals to those L cells to produce more GLP-1. But eggs also influence another important hormone. They help suppress ghrelin, which is essentially your body's hunger signal. Think of ghrelin as the "I need food" message, while GLP-1 is the "I'm satisfied" message. Eggs work on both sides of that system at the same time. A study published in the International Journal of Obesity showed that people who ate eggs for breakfast naturally consumed fewer calories later in the day, not because they were forcing themselves, but because they felt genuinely fuller for longer. For adults over 60, this protein effect becomes even more important. After 50, muscle loss gradually accelerates, a process known as sarcopenia. Getting enough high-quality protein helps slow this decline while also supporting appetite control. Dr. Lee's tip, a simple combination like 2 scrambled eggs with spinach and a slice of whole grain toast creates a balanced, nutrient-rich meal that supports GLP-1 activity and costs roughly under $1.50. Black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, and lentils. These simple pantry staples are actually some of the most overlooked foods when it comes to supporting GLP-1 in your body. A can of black beans usually costs around $1 to $1.20 and can easily provide 2 to 3 servings. That brings the cost down to roughly 40 cents per serving, making them one of the most affordable metabolic support foods you can eat. What makes legumes so powerful is that they are packed with 2 key compounds your gut L cells respond to very strongly: resistant starch and soluble fiber. Resistant starch is a special type of carbohydrate that doesn't get broken down in your small intestine. Instead, it passes through to your large intestine, where it becomes food for your beneficial gut bacteria. Once those bacteria ferment it, they produce short-chain fatty acids, and those compounds directly encourage GLP-1 release. So what's happening is a full biological chain reaction. On top of that, the fiber in beans naturally slows down digestion, which helps prevent the sharp blood sugar spikes after meals, the same general mechanism targeted by medications like Ozempic. Dr. Lee's tip: always rinse canned beans before using them. This simple step can remove a significant portion of the added sodium. You can easily add them to salads, soups, or even simple side dishes. Even a small half-cup serving can make a noticeable difference over time. Pause. At first glance, avocado might look like a premium or luxury food, but in reality, it's often available for under $1 in many stores. Even half an avocado is a perfectly effective serving. What makes avocado stand out is its healthy fat profile, especially a monounsaturated fat called oleic acid. When oleic acid reaches your small intestine, it triggers the release of a natural compound called oleoylethanolamide. This compound sends signals that help reduce appetite and support GLP-1 activity, influencing both fullness and metabolic regulation. Interestingly, this same type of fat is found in olive oil, which is one of the key reasons the Mediterranean diet is so closely linked with long-term metabolic and heart health. Avocados also provide around 7 grams of fiber per half fruit, combining both soluble and insoluble fiber, another strong contributor to GLP-1 stimulation and digestive stability. For adults over 60, avocados offer even more value. Their combination of healthy fats, fiber, potassium, and B vitamins supports not just metabolism, but also heart, brain, and joint health at the same time. Dr. Lee's tip: try mashing half an avocado on whole grain toast. This alone creates a meal that works on multiple GLP-1 supporting pathways through fiber, healthy fat, and slow digesting carbohydrates. If you want to make it even more effective, add a poached egg on top for a balanced, longevity-focused meal. Pause. The saying, "an apple a day keeps the doctor away," actually has more science behind it than most people realize. Apples are rich in a soluble fiber called pectin, the same substance that helps jams thicken and gel. Inside your digestive system, pectin behaves in a similar way. It forms a gel-like substance that slows down digestion, reduces how quickly glucose is absorbed, and helps stimulate GLP-1 release. But apples bring more than just fiber. They are also packed with polyphenols, such as quercetin and catechins, plant compounds that help improve insulin sensitivity and support the same metabolic pathways linked to GLP-1 activity. Even better, these compounds also feed beneficial gut bacteria, which adds another layer to the gut hormone connection we saw with beans. A large 2020 study found that people who regularly ate whole fruits, especially apples and pears, had better blood sugar control and lower markers of metabolic disease compared to those who consumed fruit juice. The key detail here is important. Whole fruit matters. Not juice, not processed applesauce with added sugar. The whole apple, especially with the skin, is where the fiber and beneficial compounds are concentrated. Dr. Lee's tip: eat your apple before a meal instead of after it. The pectin begins forming its gel in your stomach early, which can naturally reduce how much you eat during the meal that follows. It's a small habit change with a surprisingly strong effect. Pause. Now I know this next one might divide opinion a little, but sardines are one of the most powerful and nutrient-dense foods on this entire list, especially for adults over 60. A can of sardines in water or olive oil typically costs around $1.50 to $1.80 and provides about 2 servings, bringing the cost to under $1 per serving. What makes sardines so effective is that they work through multiple GLP-1 supporting pathways at once. First, omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These have been shown to reduce inflammation and support gut health, including improved function of the L cells that release GLP-1. Second, high-quality protein. A single serving provides roughly 20 to 22 grams of complete protein, which directly stimulates GLP-1 release in the same way we saw with eggs. Third, sardines are rich in vitamin D and calcium, 2 nutrients commonly low in older adults, both of which are important for overall metabolic and hormonal health. Beyond that, omega-3s also support brain function, joint health, and cardiovascular health, which becomes increasingly important with age. Another advantage is that sardines are among the lowest mercury fish available, making them a safer option for regular consumption. Dr. Lee's tip: mix sardines with lemon juice, a small amount of mustard, and chopped onions. Serve them on whole grain toast or crackers. It's simple, filling, and highly nutrient dense, and it costs less than $1 per serving. Try it consistently for a couple of weeks before deciding how you feel about it. This pathway is different, and in many ways, it might be the most interesting of all. Your gut microbiome, the massive community of trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system, plays a direct role in how your body regulates GLP-1. When your gut contains a diverse, balanced population of beneficial bacteria, it produces more short-chain fatty acids, reduces internal inflammation, and helps your body maintain a steadier and more reliable GLP-1 response throughout the day. Fermented foods like plain yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi work in a very direct way here. They introduce live beneficial bacteria into your digestive system, helping to strengthen and diversify your microbiome. On top of that, they also contain postbiotics, compounds created by bacteria during fermentation, which can directly influence metabolic function. A 2021 study from Stanford University found that people who increased their intake of fermented foods experienced noticeable improvements in microbiome diversity and a reduction in inflammatory markers within just 10 weeks. For adults over 60, this becomes especially important. The gut microbiome naturally becomes less diverse with age, which can affect digestion, immunity, and even metabolism. Fermented foods are one of the simplest and most affordable ways to actively support that balance. Plain yogurt with live active cultures typically costs around $1 per serving, or closer to 50 cents when purchased in larger containers. Sauerkraut is often even cheaper and highly effective in small daily amounts. Dr. Lee's tip: always choose plain yogurt labeled with live and active cultures. Avoid flavored versions as they are usually loaded with added sugar, which can disrupt gut balance and work against your metabolic goals. Instead, add your own fruit and a small drizzle of honey for natural sweetness. Pause. Now the final food may surprise you. It's small, inexpensive, and not particularly exciting on its own, but its impact is remarkable. Chia seeds are one of the most powerful functional foods in this entire list. A 1-pound bag costs around $6 to $8 and provides roughly 30 servings, bringing the cost down to about 25 cents per serving. What makes chia seeds so unique is their ability to absorb up to 12 times their weight in water. When consumed, they form a thick gel in your stomach within minutes. That gel mimics several of the same effects associated with GLP-1, slowing gastric emptying, reducing the speed at which glucose enters the bloodstream, and physically expanding in the stomach to promote a strong sense of fullness. Chia seeds are also rich in ALA omega-3 fatty acids, which support a less inflammatory environment in the gut, an important condition for healthy GLP-1 production.